Hello, this is Amy Diamond. In this episode, I'd like to show you or teach you 20 things to consider before creating a SharePoint site. So, a SharePoint site is actually a place where you can store documents, you can show links, you can present news, and you can do collaboration, and you can show all kinds of information to the public or to the company. But when you create it, there's some things you should consider, and that would, based on the criteria, you should decide how you want to create it. So first of all, you need to see if you have rights to create a site, or you need to apply through some kind of um, a company portal or something. So actually, the first topic is we will go to SharePoint, and from the SharePoint homepage, we can actually create a site. When creating the site, you need to decide what type of site you want. If it's a team site is more for collaboration, document management. It's less aesthetic, but it's more productive. It's connected usually to a 365 group, and you can connect Planner and Teams and all kind of anything that you have in a 365. On the other hand, and this is actually how it looks. So if I click here, it will create me a team site, which is you have a left navigation, and here you have a page with all kinds of web parts where you can add documents, links, pages, and lists, and all kinds of things like that. But it's meant for more teamwork and collaboration. On the other hand, a communication site is more to communicate to a company or portal with links, large images. You can see that everything is it takes the whole page from right to left, or left to right, and you can add here also information. Both sites have in the back end the same functionality to create pages, document library, lists, but the communication site actually is not connected to a Microsoft 365 group, and you cannot connect it to Planner or Teams. So the management also of permissions is like the classical site, and not the modern management. So so based on your consideration, you need to decide will it be a team site or communication. Second of all, when you create it, you also need to decide if the site will be public. That means the whole company will have access, or it will be private, only limited amount of people. So you see, public is everyone in the organization, excluding externals, and actually only members, which is private. Now, I can tell you that in some organizations, they didn't let everyone create sites because they were afraid by mistake that they will create it to be public. And then everyone would get. But if you know, for instance, a communication site, everyone needs the access, and then you can set it like that if you want a limited amount of people. No matter if it's yeah, it's just not the whole company. It can be 1,000 people, but it's not 10,000. Depends on the organization. So the second topic is, do we want it to be private or public? Third topic is, do we want the team site to be connected to a team site, to a team's team? So, because actually, if you noticed here, if I create a new site, I have the possibility. Let's do a test, and let's give it a name. So actually, I can connect this team site to a Teams team or a team with a channel, and actually then I have additional possibilities. So below this navigation, I will have some link which I can, you see here, add real time. So this connects to a team. By the way, I can, if I create a Teams team, then it creates in the back end also a SharePoint site, a team site. So we need to consider if we want it, what is the use. We can do that later, but we just need to consider it. Next topic is, do we want to collaborate with external partners? So it's important, it's possible. For instance, in a team site, if I go here and I want to share this site, then actually I would go to site permissions, and I would, for instance, if I want to share to somebody which is out of the organization, you see for members, I need to go through the Outlook web and actually add the people, the external people. So if I go here, I can add a member. So let's say I add my private mail. And it will add me as a guest. It's important to consider this. Here, if we go to members, now we see the guest. It also depends, do you want to share the whole site? Do you want to share a library, a folder, or a document library, or a single file? Next topic is actually, where's the information actually stored now? Is it in the file share? Is it in somewhere else? If it's on your desktop, if it's on a different previous SharePoint version, and actually, will there be a big migration? Will they use some big tools? Or if it's actually a new project and people will just go to the document library and upload the documents as they need to. Another thing is actually how many documents are they planning to upload? According to Microsoft, you can upload up to 30 million items or documents, but still you do have the limitation of the view threshold of 5,000. So it's recommended actually not to have more than 20,000 or 30,000 documents in one document library. And if you create also folders, then that might help, but not to upload all at once. If you need more documents, then actually you can create several document libraries. There's no limit of that, or the limit is very large. Okay, next thing is actually the volume of the storage. So not only how many documents, because when you create the site, actually it gives a default of how much storage the site will be. So just to show you, I create this, and actually I will have a possibility. Let's go to next. In this case, it takes the default. That lets me just try to take a communication site. But in general, you can sometimes define the size of the site collection, and if you have a limit, or if you need to increase, you can do it also from the admin center. But you need to follow up, because you might reach out with not enough storage on the site. Next thing is actually, do you have any processes that you need to automate, like approvals and stuff? In this case, you can also use the Power Automate, and that will help you a lot. Another thing is, do you want to give permissions to different people and different roles, or do you want actually all of the people in a team to be members and they can do all of the information? According to that, you can plan the permissions. Another thing is actually, do you want actually to sync the documents through the OneDrive? Because as you see here, we can go to the document library, you can click sync, and actually it will open up through the OneDrive a company folder on the desktop. And the question, do you want the users to use that? Or maybe you want to block it. Additional thing is, do you want the site to be a hub site? So I'll show you, for instance, a hub site is actually a place where you can connect multiple sites, and there will be a common navigation. You see, this is, for instance, communication site, but this the hub site has additional functionality first, that you can search across all of the sites which are associated, and you can also create some navigation that is common to all of the sites which are connected. Just to show you an example, here you also have some site settings, hub site settings, and you can notice that, and by the way, all of the look and feel and the site colored and everything is inherited from the hub site which is connected. You can also decide, maybe you have a hub site and you want to connect it to another hub site. So that's a new functionality, and you can consider what you want to do. Okay. You can consider, do you want to use manage metadata? Manage metadata is actually something that you can manage on a site collection, or you can define it in the tenant level, and then actually all of the sites can use this as a type of a column. You can also consider, do you want to use content types? So there's all kinds of content types for lists, for libraries, and you can also create site columns. Site columns, actually, you can create it on the site, and then multiple lists and libraries can use that instead of creating separately for each one. You need to define also who is the site owner and members. Site owner has additional permissions, and he can manage everything, permissions and all kinds of things. Also, the site members have quite a lot of power. They can delete, they have edit rights, and they can create pages, and they can delete lists, and they can do lots of things. So you should consider that before. Additional thing is, have the users got appropriate knowledge and training? And so this is a very important thing, because you can just tell them this is the place, and this is where you will store all of the documents. But if you give them more information, then they can also use the metadata, and they can create pages, create news. They can, all of the functionality of SharePoint and Teams they can use. So it's important also to give them basic training, and even assign people to be with advanced knowledge. The question is, do you want the users by themselves to use maybe a company template of the site, or maybe they can change by themselves. You see, I go to this settings, apply site template, and I get here. Just a second, it's not working, so I'll go to another one. If I go here and site templates, so you see that actually the site owner can choose from multiple templates that give some starting point. Maybe you want to give them the freedom, and maybe the company does not want the users to do that. I think it's very important that the users know also the limitations and boundaries of SharePoint sites, because it's not so let me just look for this link, limitations and boundaries SharePoint. It's very important because people get to a point where they're putting too much things, too much information, and sometimes the performance is not good. So this page actually shows how much storage you can put per site. You see there's 25 terabyte per site. The storage is actually 1 terabyte plus 10 gigabyte per user. You can see we can create 2 million site collections, up to 300 users. It depends on the plan, of course, yes. And you see here, one file size can be 250 gigabyte. And there's lots of information here that you can check. And usually, my feeling is actually that Microsoft has a soft limitation and a hard limitation. The official one is the hard one, but the soft one is usually what is recommended, which is much lower. So you see here, for instance, moving and copying files. The limit is no more than 100 gigabyte, no more than 30,000 files, and for a single file, it's 15 gigabyte. So there's lots of information that you should consider. I'll add this to the show notes. Okay, so we're nearly there. So the site owner should consider what languages should this site support, and what would be the default. So because when creating the site, you can choose the language, and actually let me just show you all of that. So I will go to a site, and I'll choose a theme site. Let's give a name. And you see here, there's the language. So there's lots of languages. Once I create it, for instance, in English, that will be the default. Okay, but besides that, it's possible, if I go here, you can choose, if I go to site settings, and I will go to languages and language settings, you'll see the default is English, but you can see here that I can mark other languages. So it's, if I mark, for instance, Hebrew, then, and my browser is in the default Hebrew, I will see it according to Hebrew. By the way, it's possible to have in multiple languages. There would be a drop down. Let me just see if it's possible here. Just give me a second. You see here, it's possible to add multiple languages, and then actually it automatically, if you click, it will ask you, do you want to create a page in a different language? But you need to consider that, because for multiple for companies that have multiple languages, it's important. Take in consideration if there's any governance plan. What is allowed, what is not allowed, And the last thing is choose your champions, choose some people that can support managing the site, because usually the business owner or is not the technical owner, and choose the people that can support the team, especially for first level or maybe second level. And then if there's a problem or question, then you can they can contact the service desk or something like that. So this was the 20 things you need to consider before creating a site. If it's self-service, then yeah, they might not consider that. But if it's a user that wants to take the right site to fill the process, or then he should consider if it's a team site, or communication site, if it's he wants a team with it, if he wants to use all of the 365 group, the calendar, and all of the things. So thank you very much. Hope you learned something, and see you in the next episode. Goodbye.